Football fans, buckle up! The 2025 NFL Draft Combine just delivered one of the most jaw-dropping performances in recent memory, and the names on everyone's lips are Landon Jackson and Shemar Stewart. These two defensive monsters just made history, sending a clear message to every NFL team: draft us or regret it forever. What happened in Indianapolis wasn't just impressive, it was earth-shattering. These two defensive linemen, both weighing over 260 pounds, jumped higher than most wide receivers and cornerbacks. That's not just athleticism, it's an outright freak show of human performance. So what does this mean for their draft stock? Will they skyrocket to the top, or are some teams still foolish enough to pass on these game changers? Let's break down how Jackson and Stewart just forced their way into NFL history, and why ignoring them could be the biggest mistake of the 2025 draft. Jackson and Stewart, the new freaks of the NFL. If you thought Myles Garrett's legendary 41-inch vertical in 2017 was untouchable, think again. Landon Jackson just tied Mario Williams' 2006 for the second highest vertical jump ever among defensive linemen over 260 pounds, hitting a ridiculous 40.5 inches. Meanwhile, Shemar Stewart wasn't far behind, launching himself an insane 40 inches into the air. Just to put that into perspective, Aaron Donald's vertical jump, 32 inches. Nick Bosa, 33.5 inches. Chase Young, 35 inches. Even Von Miller, one of the most explosive pass rushers ever, only managed 37 inches. Landon Jackson beat them all. Shemar Stewart beat almost all of them. And these aren't small, quick edge rushers. These are hulking, dominant linemen with the explosiveness of skill players. If an offensive tackle doesn't get his hands on these guys immediately, his quarterback is in serious danger. Landon Jackson, the next great edge rusher? For those who haven't been paying attention, Landon Jackson has been on a mission. 49 tackles in 2024, 6.5 sacks, team leader, second team All-Sec. Over his college career at Arkansas, Jackson stacked up 116 tackles, 16 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. He's long, explosive, and relentless, exactly the kind of edge rusher NFL teams drool over. But what makes him truly terrifying? That motor. There's a reason why NFL scouts are calling him one of the most relentless defenders in the draft. He never takes a play off. He fights through double teams. He never stops coming for the quarterback. And after his record-breaking combine performance, he's basically forcing his way into first-round discussions. There's no more maybe about it. Landon Jackson is a top-tier pass rusher. The only question is, which team is smart enough to take him before it's too late? Shemar Stewart, NFL ready or a risk? Unlike Jackson, Shemar Stewart has had some doubters. Not enough pass rush moves. Not physical enough. Struggles against elite competition. And what did Stewart do? He shut all that noise down. At the Reese's Senior Bowl, Stewart straight up called out his critics. I am everything people say I'm not. That's a scary level of confidence. And when a 6'6", 290-pound defensive lineman with elite athleticism talks like that, teams better listen. Sure, his college numbers weren't mind-blowing. 31 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble in 2024. But let's be real. College stats don't always tell the whole story. Ask anyone who watched his tape. Shemar Stewart is a problem. He's got the size, power, and explosiveness to dominate in the NFL. And if the right team develops him, he could be a nightmare for offensive lines for the next decade. What does this mean for the 2025 NFL Draft? With Landon Jackson and Shemar Stewart rewriting combine history, expect their names to be hot topics leading up to April 24-26 in Green Bay. Here's what could happen. Jackson locks in a first-round spot, potentially even top 15. After his combine, there's no way teams ignore his freakish athleticism. Stewart jumps up draft boards. He might not be a first-rounder yet, but his stock is rising fast. If a team is willing to develop him, he could be one of the biggest steals in the draft. Quarterbacks should start worrying, because whoever drafts these guys is getting a pass-rushing monster. Prediction? Jackson lands with a playoff contending team looking for an instant impact pass rusher. Stewart? He could go anywhere from late first to mid-second, but wherever he lands, he'll have a massive chip on his shoulder. Final warning to NFL teams. Don't screw this up. Landon Jackson and Shemar Stewart just sent a message to the entire NFL. Ignore us at your own risk. Every year there are players who slide in the draft, and every year teams regret it. Don't let these guys be another mistake. Jackson is a day one starter. Stewart has unlimited upside. And both just proved they belong in the elite club of defensive freaks. So here's the question. Who's smart enough to take them? And more importantly, who's dumb enough to pass on them? That's the latest from the 2025 NFL Draft Combine. Who do you think will draft Jackson and Stewart? Drop your predictions in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more breaking NFL content.